This winter season has been one to remember. With so many shows to watch, I somehow managed to find the time to watch a majority of them, and to at least give a one episode try to almost all of them that were not sequels of ones I haven't seen. I still don't know how the hell I did so, with balancing real life responsibilities and having time to keep up weekly with so many shows. Anyways, we had big name shows returning and new ones that blew my expectations away. It was so hard to narrow down my favorite ones for the season, but I have finally decided my personal top 5 for winter 2026. So without further ado, let's begin. Let's first start with a sort of appetizer with some honorable mentions. These are two that I fairly enjoyed but just did not quite make it to my top 5. So let's go through them quickly. First, we have my favorite isekai slop of the season. I'm so addicted to these shows that I end up watching at least one every anime season, with this season not being any different. And the one that I enjoy the most out of all the others? Well, it's the long ass title one. I'm not going to read the whole title of it because fuck that. So let's just go with Easygoing Territory Defense. It's the run-of-the-mill isekai, but I enjoy the whole civilization building part of it, surprisingly quite a bit more than I expected. Everything else from the story to animation was just okay, but I did look forward each week to watching the new episode, so there's that. The opening and ending songs were also catchy. Not much to say about this one, so let's move on. Next, tune in to the Midnight Heart, all harem anime, a genre that I have a hate-love relationship with. It's typically a hit or miss for me every season, but this one just had something that drew me in. I like to give any show at least an episode try, no matter what. I hope the first episode grabs my attention, and this one did just that. The whole premise with the mystery of who is the girl behind the Apollo persona that he has been obsessed with for so long is what quickly got my attention. I personally quite enjoy the characters, especially Arisu, who, not gonna lie, at the beginning I was a bit iffy about, but he grew on me as the show went on. I got the same joy out of it as the last harem anime I enjoyed, and to this day regard as my all-time favorite of the genre, Quintessential Quintuplets. Of course, like any harem anime, you have to choose which girl to support to the end. And so without any hesitation at all, I went straight for the tsundere, Nene. But Rika, she grew on me, especially her trying to grow as a singer in the last 2 episodes. Apart from the story and characters, the animation, I can see why people had their complaints about it. I found it to be fine, but looking at the manga and reading the chapters the anime covered, I can understand why fans might have been disappointed. Season 2 has been announced, and I am looking forward to it whenever it comes out. Who knows, maybe the animation improves and meets the standards expected by the die-hard fans of the series. Romance anime, a genre that I would never get tired of no matter how many I watch. It seems like every season there's one that I always enjoy. You and I are polar opposites is the one this time. From the start on episode 1, we get something that most romance anime don't ever get, a confession.
Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about.
Our main couple, yes, there are multiple ones, is Suzuki Miyu and Tani Yusuke, who, like the title states, are completely opposites of each other when it comes to their personalities. Suzuki is extroverted and is easy to talk to, while Tani is an introvert who isn't afraid to speak his mind. It was a pretty good demonstration of the whole start of a new relationship, the so-called honeymoon phase, with them figuring out things as they go, as it's the first time experiencing these emotions for another. We also have our second couple, Nishi Natsumi and Yamada Kentaro. This time Nishi is a very introverted and shy person, while Yamada is very sociable and extroverted. Compared to the main couple, their progress is a bit slower as they get to know one another. Also, seeing shy Nishi has to be one of the cutest parts of the show.
I gotta tell you, it was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
Our last couple, which is a more hinted one to happen later in the story, is Azuma Shino and Taira Shuji. Azuma is someone who does things to fit in a way doesn't truly show who she really is, while Taira is someone who lacks confidence and struggles with self-hatred. They have known each other since middle school, and for me are the couple I'm more excited to see more of. Now the art style animation, so good, especially the art style and the way Suzuki becomes this little gremlin creature from here and there. It's a simple story with no serious conflicts, a nice comfy rom-com to just sit back and enjoy. From what I heard, they are adapting the whole story as it's a short manga, so I can't wait for the next season. The author of this is also getting an adaptation of their other manga this spring season, so there is something to look forward to while we wait for the next season. Sentenced to be a Hero, an anime whose 1 hour premiere got people talking and intrigued. With staff members who worked on Mushoku Tensei Season 1, the action absolutely delivered. Yes, in later episodes it did drop a little bit, but it was still solid overall. Dark fantasy anime that are good are hard to come by nowadays, with the majority of fantasy in general being associated with isekai. The story follows Xylo, who is a hero, but in this world, heroes are criminals who have committed crimes so grave that the only punishment worthy of the crime is to become a hero. Heroes are put in the front lines of the war against fairies and demon lords. They are forced to fight, and if they die, they are simply resurrected and sent back to the battlefield. This in turn causes them to lose their memories and themselves each time they are revived. The hero Tatsuya is a perfect example of the consequences of being revived countless times. Xylo's crime was killing a goddess, but from the start you can see that he was likely framed. Now as a hero, he has formed another pact with a goddess, this time Teorita, who came in contact with him after a failed transportation mission in the first episode. They work so well together as Xylo is able to make knives and swords explode on impact, while Teorita is able to summon swords. At first the story didn't fully grab my attention, but thankfully it did get interesting for me later on. With how the church has been infiltrated by demon lord worshippers and the plans they had for Teorita if the mission at the start did not fail, made me more intrigued in this world and a bit more in the story. I also thoroughly enjoyed the characters, especially knowing more of each hero's backstory and the crimes they committed, with his majesty without a doubt being my favorite character in the whole series. The last episode of the season was a perfect way to end it, and with season 2 being announced, I am very excited to see where the story continues from here, especially with the situation that Kivia now finds herself in.
ただ、人間にも欲がある以上、魔が差すなんてことはいつだって起こり得る。衝動に抗えないところがあるのは人間だって同じだよ。
Frieren is back again, with no episode in this season being disappointing at all. Despite being a short season, it felt like a great continuation of season 1. We continue with the journey north and doing what Frieren does so well, going from a sort of slice of life feeling to suddenly finding ourselves seeing an amazing fight. With this time, the main fight of the season being against the demon Revolte, which reminded me how good Madhouse can be when they lock in. The OST for the show? My god, is it amazing as ever. The story continues to be as good as it was in the beginning, and still does flashbacks the best out of any other anime in my opinion. There are literally no complaints for me when it comes to Frieren. Now that this season is over, if you read the manga you know what's coming. Even though we won't get the next season till October of next year, I can't contain my excitement to finally see the best arc of Frieren finally get adapted. This also means we are getting closer and closer to the anime catching up with the manga, with 3-ish arcs remaining after the next season, with 2 of those arcs being pretty short, and if adapted I can see it being a short season like season 2. And with the current arc the manga is at not being done yet, it might be a long time until we see more Frieren after season 3. The manga being on indefinite hiatus due to health reasons regarding the creators, hopefully they do get better soon, and I'm willing to wait until they are all healthy, ready to give us more of this fantastic story. Jujutsu Kaisen keeps pushing the bar higher and higher in how amazing the quality of a weekly released anime can be. With movie production levels, it's absolutely insane. There seems to be no stopping MAPPA in what they are able to produce. Hopefully, the animators aren't in living hell right now and are doing alright. And this season, we are treated to more amazing fights, finally seeing the introduction of long-awaited characters and the return of ones we haven't seen in so long. After the end of season 2 and the events of Shibuya, there was a lot of excitement to see where the story goes from there. Story-wise for me, it was cool, but the second part is where things get very good in this arc. Overall, no real complaints from me. With part 1 of the season now done, and as we wait for the second part whenever it comes out, we are reminded of how the finale of JJK is getting closer and closer. With the Shinjuku Showdown arc being the last left, and man, what a journey it's been since season 1 5 years ago. From following the manga since then until its ending, which of course had some mixed reactions, I'm truly excited to see the show finally wrap up. Hopefully we won't have to wait a long time or go the Demon Slayer route and milk the finale with movies all spread out. Journal with Witch was an anime that surprised me this season. An anime that I knew nothing about and went in blindly. It was so hard to decide between Frieren, JJK, and Journal with Witch on which one was my favorite for this season. But there was just something about this one that just left an impact on me. Asa is a 15-year-old girl who has gone through the most unthinkable thing, losing both her parents. She feels alone with no one to rely on, with her aunt Makio having to step up and become her guardian. Makio is indifferent to the death of her sister, as their relationship was not the best. She doesn't treat Asa like her sister did. She gives her more independence and wants to fulfill the role of just a legal guardian. But it's clear that Asa still needs that motherly figure in her life. As they live together, they start to understand one another, and in a way, help each other grow as people. We not just see their struggles, but of others too. Each person's story in the anime perfectly describes the struggles we go through, quietly. The people in our lives who shape who we are, for better or worse. Regrets?
だってそんなことばっかり考えてるうちに自分が本当はどうしたいのかわかんなくなっちゃったんだもん。
Guilt?
あるいは彼女がもっと遅く生まれていればきっと一角の人になっただろうなって思うんだ。だからなんとなく私が母の人生を潰したみたいな気持ちがあるのよ。
And no matter our age, there's still things we have yet to figure out about ourselves. The anime perfectly demonstrates how different we all show or deal with our emotions. Asa deals with her emotions through sleep, and in a way is just disconnecting from the world around her. Her struggles to find the acceptance of her parents being gone, especially her mom who she was so close to, has her feeling a loneliness that manifests as a vast desert she walks through endlessly, longing for answers, hoping someone, anyone, can understand her and guide her through everything, even if they have to lie to her. Episode 8 for me was the most memorable. Asa lashing out at everyone, and the way she starts to blame her mom for her own death shows how she is so close to breaking apart. She questions her mom's love when she read the journal left by her, despite deep down knowing she loved her dearly. With the closing scene of the episode finally seeing her completely letting her sadness come out in her tears with one sentence. Dad and Mom, they're dead. The writing has you leaving each episode thinking about what it means to find oneself and how to deal with the emotions that you can't quite grasp. This is an anime that I can't recommend enough, and I can't get enough of it, that I will be watching a live action film version of it too. When it comes to the most stand-up part for me in the anime, it has to be dealing with the healing process, because it's something that can't be described as simple as a straight line. One day you can feel that you moved forward, and the next day you're feeling like you're going backwards. But that's okay, because no one heals in an instant. The pain may never fully go away, but you'll be fine as that weight will become lighter, and you'll figure out how to manage it in your own way, which in turn makes you a stronger person. Well, that's all for this video. Spring season looks to be insane as well, so I'm excited to see the return of some notable anime and some new interesting ones. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.